Well, I was going on a lot of NLP training. I was trying stuff out. I was taking what I was learning and applying it where I worked. So I was working. I was really lucky in some ways. I was managing these big projects, which meant I didn't really have anyone looking over my shoulder, so I could kind of do whatever I liked. So I was integrating NLP into all my project management approaches, as well as coaching people and all that sort of stuff.
That's really good. I like that you said that, because NLP is not just for people who call it therapy, or it's not just for change work. It's, it's instrumental in business.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, the principles of NLP, if you're working in an organization doing a job or something, you can absolutely weave it into what you're doing.
Yes.
You can use it for, I used it for all kinds of things I was doing with public speaking, with risk assessments on projects, and all sorts of stuff. And so I think that's one thing I'd recommend to people. Whatever they're learning, find ways to apply it in your day-to-day work.
Right.
Sit down for 10 minutes and say, okay, how could I apply this today? How can I use it?
I love that you said that. Have you ever heard, I'm sure you have heard people say, I just don't know how I should use NLP in my daily life,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you said that.
But I think sometimes it takes just a willingness to actually sit down for 10 minutes and think, okay, what are some of the things I'm doing today? How could I apply NLP to that? How could I apply what I'm doing? Rather than just hoping it'll show up when you need it.
You run it through. It sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you decided that you were going to move forward with going into training level?
Well, yeah, I did. In fact, I did practitioner, master practitioner, and trainer all within a year. Training all within a year of each other. So I did them in big group trainings here in the UK. So I had my trainer certificate a year after starting my practitioner training. But I wasn't, I had the piece of paper, but I wasn't actually able to. And in fairness, it was a provisional trainer certificate. I actually, to qualify, I had to send a video of me doing some stuff. But what I did then was went and I repeated practitioner and master practitioner and trainer training with another training organization to broaden my understanding and broaden my skill. Also doing it in a smaller group where I could get real one-to-one feedback on stuff I was doing and that sort of thing.
And so you were doing that for a little while, and when did it start to feel like the penny dropped and you were ready to go out there on your own, and what happened?
Well, there are two different things. The penny dropped, I think, because I'd been putting this stuff into practice in my work. I also started, for the companies I was doing project management for, I started doing strategy work and team building and that sort of thing with the teams of directors and that sort of stuff. Basically, I kind of fronted it up and said, this is something I do, so
I love it.
Because I had access.
The only way
And the penny dropped one day when I was doing a team strategy day with this team of directors, and I was using a metaphor and embedding a whole bunch of messages in the middle of the metaphor to get them to sort of spring them out. They were at a point in the publishing industry where they really needed to take action and do something different because of internet and that sort of thing. They were kind of stuck in their ways and that sort of thing. So I used this story as in the process of telling the story, I got to shout at them saying, do something, take some action, change what you're doing.
Fantastic.
And like really giving them words unconsciously. And I was going, that fucking rocks.
I know,
doing stuff that
So what happened? What did they, when you saw that they got it, it was just like cha-ching or what?
Yeah, it was just like seeing that I could actually do that stuff, which seemed pretty advanced to me. I was like, okay, I can do that. And I guess that was probably in 2000. I then started a consultancy with a friend of mine, an NLP-based consultancy, doing coaching, team building, strategy, doing all the stuff all the skills I'd kind of been developing in my corporate work. I was doing, and the idea we had was, we'll make a bunch of money doing executive team-based work, and then use that money to fund doing public trainings, doing the stuff we really love to do, teaching people NLP, teaching them the tools of freedom, all that sort of stuff. But after 18 months of doing the executive coaching, we hadn't run a single public program. We hadn't run
Okay.
anything. And
Why did you have so many clients, or what happened? Or you
just where our energy went,
Yeah.
it just didn't seem to flow there.
Yeah.
And we started out being like that, and we kind of grew in
Very
different
hard,
directions.
yeah.
So towards the end of the second year, I started running trainings anyway. Started running a practitioner training, and he and I went our separate ways. And I started Salad at the beginning of 2003.
That's exciting. Now, before you started Salad, how did you tell us all about? I'm just so excited to know. How did you start Salad? Why did you start Salad? Why did you even call it Salad?
Okay.
So many questions.
Well, I started Salad because while doing corporate change work and that sort of thing was a good way of making money, what I'm really passionate about is people and about being able to be 100% authentic, congruent, and that sort of thing.
Love it.
And I found if I'm working to someone else's agenda, I can't necessarily show up 100%
it's
as
difficult
myself.
to be you as well. Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And so as it got to the end of 2002, I was like, okay, I'm going to start this company. I didn't know anything about marketing.
Oh yeah, that's a tricky one.
or anything.
Yeah. Just
but
like everybody else who
Yeah.
starts their training company,
But I'd listened to, a couple of years before, I'd bought a tape set by Seth Godin.
Oh yeah.
Blessed be his name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Yeah.
Called something like Making Money on the Web, or How to
Right.
Make Money on the
Yeah.
Web. And I listened to that, and he said, he was talking about the difference between permission marketing or relationship marketing and old style interruption marketing. So I thought, whatever I do, it's going to be relationship marketing, permission marketing. And so I thought, some kind of newsletter.
Yeah.
And my old company, the partnership
Yeah.
I'd been in, had been called Hologram Change Technologies. It's a nice technical sounding name. So I thought I was going to call my company Hologram Training.
To keep the branding going.
I liked that
Yeah,
brand, and
okay.
it was already, I liked
Yeah.
that concept that went with it. So I did a course, and a friend of mine called Gina came on the course. Now Gina's was at the time working for a product semiotics firm, so they're deconstructing brands, and they know all about that stuff.
Yeah.
And so she was at my place the night after the course, and I was telling her about the new company I was starting.
Yeah.
And she said, "What you gonna call it?" And I said, "Well, I'm gonna call it Hologram Training."
Yeah.
I said, "What do you think?" She goes, "Do you really want my opinion?"
Oh, yeah.
I said, "Yeah, absolutely, give it to me." So she spent a long time very eloquently explaining why Hologram Training was quite possibly the shittest name on the planet.
Wow. Thank God for her.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I was, took that very passively aggressively, and I was like, "Okay, Miss Smarty Pants, what would be a better name?"
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, anything you said today on that course would be a better name." And I said, "Well, like what? Be more specific." And she said, "Well, like word salad." See, I told them a story about how Milton Erickson, when he went to a new mental hospital or anything like that, they would wheel out the most intractable cases. And there's quite a famous story of him working with a guy who had word salad, who produced no intelligible sentences or words or anything. And so Erickson got a transcription of his word salad output and taught himself to speak word salad. And then...
Which was an amazing story, isn't it?
Amazing story.
Oh, I was so moved by that story.
And so I took word salad as a starting point. Sorry, you were going to ask something.
No, I was just going to say, maybe somebody hasn't heard the story, so can you tell us the
Well,
ending
yeah,
of
sure.
the story?
So he basically taught himself to speak word salad, which isn't really a language. It doesn't really communicate much meaning. It's just an utterance, a stream